Mortal Kombat! Okay, yeah, that intro took way too fucking long. Anyway, so I had Mortal Kombat on a brain because, again, it's Halloween. So I started thinking about all this random shit. And you guys already know I did the video about how Freddy Krueger was showing up as downloadable content within Mortal Kombat. And he was in there and he turned out to be a really kick-ass character. Well, then I started talking about, you know, other characters that'd be cool to show up. I decided I want to go way more in depth on that. I want to talk about other movie characters that could show up from other horror franchises. And then I started thinking, well, what about other video game characters that could show up? Haha! That's something that's important. Now, here's the thing. Who would you want to start with? Well, naturally, if we're going to start with anything, let's start with the horror movies. Now, first up, I'm going to have to name the most obvious contender who should show up within Mortal Kombat, just because Freddy is there, and that's Jason Voorhees. Yes, Jason Voorhees should in fact show up in the game. As a matter of fact, there is a rumor that him and Michael Myers, which I am wearing my Halloween shirt, him and Michael Myers are both... They were in the talks of showing up within the game, but they ended up debating over it a bunch and ended up choosing Freddy. Now, if this is the case, and there isn't going to be a whole bunch of bullshit with like licensing and everything, then we very well may end up seeing two of our favorite horror movie slashers, which I already talked about Michael Myers, so I might as well just say him. Because, I mean, Michael Myers, he does kick tons of ass. I haven't really gotten to touch on him within any of the other videos, but I do. I love all the Halloween movies, except for some of the newer ones. They're... Like, the one that Rob Zombie made, that one wasn't too bad, but I'm talking about the ones before that, like H2O and shit like that. Like, those were just clusterfucks, but anyway, I honestly love all the older ones, especially 1 and 2, those being the very best. I kind of consider them just one whole long movie. But see Michael Myers show up? Yeah, I would love to see him just stab the shit out of a bunch of people, because that's what he does best. He chokes a bitch, and then he stabs a bitch, and then stabs another bitch, and then chokes another. That's pretty much Michael Myers' like whole MO. So, yeah, that'd be cool. Hail to the king, baby. And I'm not actually talking about Duke Nukem this time. No, I'm actually talking about Ash, which, when 3D Realms was making Duke Nukem, they got a lot of their really kick-ass one-liners from the Evil Dead series, such as Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, etc. So why don't we have Ash? You know, one of the most badass movie characters ever, with his trusty boomstick and his fucking chainsaw arm, which he could then revert into, like, the little crazy gauntlet that could crush anything, which they introduced into Army of Darkness. Why don't we have Ash show up in this? I'm sorry, he would be so fucking awesome. And you should give him the ability to hurt enemies with his taunts, because that's what he does, like, on a professional. And if you can, an alternate costume where he's in his S-Mark getup, yeah, that would be fucking awesome. So Ash from Evil Dead, he's a must-have. Now when I'm thinking of horror movies, there's one other character that comes to mind. I'd even mention him, but the thing is, he would be so fucking awesome within a fighting game, and that is Pinhead. Yes, the leader of the Cenobites from the fucking series Hellraiser. You're like, dude, Pinhead would be so fucking cool. You know, okay, we got Scorpion, he's got the spear and everything. Well, just imagine if there was, like, a spear that could come out from, like, any direction and grab you and yank you up. That'd be cool. Like, I can imagine them doing that and it'd be so kick-ass. Or he could, like, summon one of the Cenobites, like Chatter or Butterball, or that one chick that has the fucking throat opened up. I always forget her name. But anyway, they could have them show up, or they could have, like, those real cool-ass dogs that he had in the one movie where it was set in space, which I thought was silly, but that's besides the point, is the fact that he could just keep on summoning tons of really kick-ass shit, and his fatality obviously could involve the box, because the box is the entire point to all the Hellraiser movies. Except for the newest one, which, that one's just fucking horrible, and should never, ever, ever, ever be seen. Ever. Now, Arnold Schwarzenegger had to battle this enemy. Can you guess who it might be? Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Done! Predator! Yes, Predator should in fact show up. I mean, Predator fought all the fucking aliens, so why not show up in Mortal Kombat and start kicking ass in that? And ironically, in Mortal Kombat 3, they had his fucking fatality. Drop a whole bunch of bombs and then blow it up. That's what he has. He has a fucking nuke that literally just destroys planets. So yeah, he could actually show up in that. The only thing is, I think that if he did show up within Mortal Kombat, he would come off as, like, kind of like a carbon copy of the robots, Cyrax and Sector. that's kind of what he would remind me of, a mix of them, but I think that they could end up doing him justice just considering the fact that he's also all about melee and he's got his blades and everything, and honestly, he looks really fucked up whenever his mask is taken off, which that should be an alternate costume. Or when he's taking damage, you can actually see it exposed and stuff, but regardless, yeah, I would want to see Predator show up because he would be fucking brutal. Now, I'm going out on a limb here, but I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what, that could be kind of cool. Now, remember in Soul Calibur 4, whenever they introduced Yoda? Yoda, who's like this fucking big and shit, you know, comes up to everybody's knees, and he just flies around the screen and is annoying as shit. Well, imagine if you introduce Chucky, yes, from Child's Play movies. Well, imagine bringing him in. I would end up making him look like he does whenever his face is all stitched together, because I think that's a cooler look. Granted, we could have the classic version of him, but I think it'd be awesome having little Charles Lee Ray show up and just hack the living shit out of people, because it would be pretty fucking funny. Just seeing Chucky show up with this little striped shirt and everything, and then you're playing as Jason Voorhees, who's like 7 feet tall and shit. Like, just seeing that, like, on screen would make me laugh my ass off, but it would be really fun. I'm sorry, but yeah, Child's Play, having Chucky in that would just be, it'd be fucking awesome. It would be. And you know damn well you would at least play as him once, even though he'd be really annoying, because you'd be like, high punch! And he's just like, oh, man. When are you gonna hit me? Because I'm down here, and, oh, nut shot! Yeah, that would suck for everybody. Now onto the video game front of characters I would like to see show up. Now, whenever I was making this list, I decided that I was going to shy away from anything that was Capcom related just because we already have a Marvel vs. Capcom, so I decided to go and pick through like all my games and started thinking about characters that'd be really kick-ass if they showed up, just because I could see them implemented into the game just because, well, they're ultra-violent characters. So, why not have them introduced into Mortal Kombat? Because, hell, they'd fit. First up on my list, and this guy will definitely be able to stand toe-to-toe with Jason Voorhees, will be none other than the main character from Splatterhouse, Rick. Yeah, Rick, who was in the newer Splatterhouse, which if you have not played, you should go out and get it, because it's fucking awesome, and has an all-metal soundtrack. But anyway, enough going and plugging that game. The fact that Rick should show up in this, I mean, the dude is all about just seriously ripping people apart, and he takes bodily damage, so I can totally see something like that working. And having his character like show up in a Mortal Kombat universe, yeah, I could see them spinning like a whole bunch of stories with him just because, I mean, he's got the mask. I'm sorry, but that would be something really kick-ass. Or make it so that the mask like possesses somebody else. Huh. That would be kind of neat. I don't know. Anyway. Ideas flowing a whole bunch, but have them just pick up like a whole bunch of melee weapons and everything. Similar to MK4, but just make it so that only he can do it. That'd be kind of nice, because I wouldn't want them to go down the Mortal Kombat 4 route, because I fucking hated that game. It was so stupid. Next up, a more obscure character from a game that I just beat recently, and that's Fwank. Yes, Fwank. Not with an R, but with a W. Fwank from Loaded and Reloaded. Now, he's the character that you see on the cover, and is also my favorite character and my preferred character to play as through the game. Well, Fwank is a serial killer and absolutely batshit crazy. And the thing is, he runs around shooting people with a rocket launcher and exploding them everywhere. Like, everywhere that he goes, there's splattered remains and brains and intestines everywhere he goes. Fucking right he should be in Mortal Kombat. And on top of that, the dude has a special where he sends out like a bajillion fucking teddy bears that explode and destroy anything that they touch. Why wouldn't you want to have him in Mortal Kombat? That would make so much sense. And they've also depicted him having like a gigantic knife, like this fucking big. It's basically like a machete, but you know, it's like the Rainbow knife, just crazy fucking big. It's like a little mini sword and shit. But it would be so cool having him show up in the game, because I could see him seriously like just in the game. Hell, I would like to see half the characters in the Loaded and Reloaded games show up in it, just because they're really fucking cool, and I like those games a whole lot. And also, just like with Splatterhouse, if you haven't played Loaded or Reloaded, play those games, because they fucking own. Speaking of mass carnage, anywhere that you go, Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden! Yes, Ninja Gaiden is fucking awesome, and it's also one of the hardest video games that you're ever gonna pick up. Like, it will whoop your ass in half, and then glue you back together just to whoop your ass into fucking force after that. Okay, Ryu Hayabusa is all about just, like, carving people up into pieces. And hell, if you've seen any of the trailers and any of the gameplay footage from Ninja Gaiden 3 that's coming out, the dude's constantly covered in blood. There's a reason for that, because he's fucking crazy, and he's just like, I love doing this, people confetti, blood everywhere. Cue Raining Blood from Slayer. Dun, dun, dun. I'm sorry, yeah, that would be awesome. Too bad I can't play that song. Damn copyright infringement. Anyhow, Ryu Hayabusa, yes, most definitely should show up, so Tecmo, yes, just sign a little piece of paper and let the Mortal Kombat folks drop his ass into the game because, well, it's already got tons of ninjas, so why not have this ninja? Because he's one of the most famous video game ninjas, and he should be able to hang out with the likes of Sub-Zero and Scorpion and Noob Saibot and Ermac and Brain and all the other good shit. Now we have Kratos, and Kratos was an awesome character to introduce into Mortal Kombat just because, I mean, the dude fits, that's all there is to it. But the thing is, there's another character that's just like Kratos, and came out just recently, and that's Dante from Dante's Inferno. No, not Dante from Devil May Cry. Remember, I'm avoiding all the Capcom stuff. Here's the thing. Dante from Dante's Inferno, the dude starts off by killing death. That's pretty fucking badass. I mean, that automatically, like, etches your name into, like, the badass monument of fucking awesomeness within the fucking world of video games. So why not have him show up in this? He's got all those crazy-ass combos, all those cool-ass fucking weapons, and that really killer fucking cross, which he basically just busts out and is just like, fuck you! And everybody's just like, ah! Yeah, I would love to see him show up in that because, well, he's brutal, he's really badass, and it would definitely be pretty cool to see him fight against Kratos, because, well, their games are just alike, so, maybe that could happen. We'll see. Blood Omen, Legacy of Kane. The main character from that is none other than Kane. Yeah, Kane is a fucking monster. He ran around with Raziel, and Raziel's a really cool character, but I decided that I was going to choose Kane over him just because, I don't know, I kind of prefer Kane, just because that's who I got to play as first, because I played the very first Blood Omen game. But he's got the fucking Soul Reaver on top of all this. It's like, dude, just imagine all the cool-ass shit that he could possibly just fuck you up with. It's like, all those games were really fucking killer, except for Blood Omen 2. That one had a really awful camera. And weird puzzles, and I don't know. Anyway, I'm nitpicking about a game that I shouldn't even be nitpicking about, because I'm just talking about the kick-ass character it should be showing up. Okay, if you played the very first Blood Omen game, he got like all these power-ups and these other things, and one of them was called Flay. I shit you not, I have it memorized what he says in the game. And he says this, Flay. These curious devices send whirling bolts of energy, eviscerating my opponents by ripping ragged flesh from blood-stained bone. Number one, that is the most metal shit I've ever heard within a fucking game. But on top of that, that belongs in Mortal Kombat. It's just like, flay, flay, flay. Granted, I wouldn't want him to say like that entire thing that I just said every time that he throws it, because if you decide to spam attack, it's like, flay, these curious flay, these curious flay, these curious flay, these curious devices, flay, these and be like, shut the fuck up! Like, that would be kind of funny though, now that I think about it. But either way, hell, you want to know what? Fuck it. Add in Raziel too. He fucking deserves it. I mean, dude's got that really fucking cool, like, I don't know, ethereal looking sword thing. It's just like, ah! And he has no jaw. So nobody could do anything with a fatality for ripping off his jaw, because they'd be like, ha! Aw. They like pull down his little like scarf thingy, and he's all like, I just have teeth. That's it. And they'd be like, damn it! Well, shit. Fuck you! And he's just like, ugh. And just falls over dead. But anyway, yeah, you know what? Raziel and Kane, add them both, because they fucking rock. What is something that's really brutal, that everybody knows kicks tons of ass, and is within the world of survival horror? I'll give you a hint. I reviewed the first game. Dun 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 dun! Dead Space! Yes, that's right, Isaac Clarke from the Dead Space games. He should show up. And I will say this for only one reason. We can ignore anything else about Isaac Clarke. I will say that he should show up for one reason. His fucking brutal stomp. Oh my god. He can stomp enemies into pieces. Like, no one person should be able to stomp on you and your arm flies off. Stomp on you again, your head pops off like a little fucking grape, okay? Stomps on you again, your legs fly off. That's not fucking normal. The dude's just wearing like a mining suit. It does not give him that kind of power. He's just Isaac Clarke, and he has the most devastating stomp. Not including the tons of weapons that he has that he could just pull out at any point. I mean, I'm sorry, but just imagine if he gets like the javelin gun out and just sticks your ass to a wall and just runs up and starts comboing the living fucking tar out of you. And yes, he has tons of melees. And I love the fact that in Dead Space 2, they just made him like flip the fuck out whenever he was fighting. He's just like, motherfuckers fucking, ah! Like, that made me happy because anytime that I was playing Dead Space, I was always like, he should just like flip a bitch and just absolutely go nuts, and he did. So yeah, Isaac Clarke from Dead Space, he should show up because he's brutal. Now this dude is the #1 ranked assassin, and for a big reason, because he's Travis fucking Touchdown. Yes, the main character from No More Heroes 1 and 2, which just looks like I'm adding it into 3, which I hope there's a part 3. I love both those games. Anyhow, Travis Touchdown is an assassin. All he does is run around with his fucking beam katana. No, it's not a lightsaber, it's a beam katana, damn it. Seriously, that, and I'm sure they get sued at some point. But you know damn well that they love Star Wars. But he ran around with his beam katana and just hacked everything into pieces and could also fight really fucking well. He was just an all-around well-rounded badass, even though he's like a big nerd and geek. But that's one of the reasons why I like him so much, because he's just... He's seriously awesome. I can relate to him. He's got a cute little cat. He's into anime and video games and stuff like that. And I mean, he saves all of his games by sitting down on the shitter. That's cool! I love that a whole bunch. But Travis Touchdown, yes, he could most definitely fit into Mortal Kombat. I don't know what kind of art style they'd want to go with, because, I mean, he's an anime-looking character, but I don't give a shit. Even if they just make him look like an anime character and he'll just stand out like a sore thumb, who fucking cares? It's the fact that you get to play as him, and it would be really kick-ass, and all the stuff that he says is pretty fucking funny, so why not have him in the game? Ooh, this is character I've been dying to see just roll outside of his regular games and show up in something else. And I can most definitely guarantee that they would say okay to this, and he's a Sony exclusive character. He's none other than the ice cream truck driving serial killer, Sweet Tooth! Now, many of you know that I love Twisted Metal and then some, because it's car fucking combat. It's such a kick-ass concept, like, who else wouldn't want to drive around and just blow people up? I love that concept a whole bunch, and the new one's coming out soon, so yeah, I will be playing that. But anyway, here's the thing. Sweet Tooth, he kills people all the time. The dude is all about murder, and you've seen him multiple times with weapons and everything, and even killing people. You see the bodies piling up. Just watch the story modes and shit like that. And he would be awesome to have in Mortal Kombat. I don't really care what they would do, just make it at some point that he has a fatality, that he rolls in with the ice cream truck, transforms, and just launches tons of missiles at it. That's all I ask. So long as that happens, I would be fucking happy. Or if he can stab somebody in the eye with a fucking ice cream cone, and then like take a little bit off and then eat it and just chuckle his ass off, yeah, that would be pretty funny. And I've saved the best for last. The very last person I would love to see show up within a video game based on Mortal Kombat, none other than the alien ass kicker, Duke Nukem. Duke Nukem is really awesome, and no, not Duke Nukem from Captain Planet, Duke Nukem from the Duke Nukem games. And it makes sense. He's got the mighty boot, he's all about fucking people up and kicking ass and chewing bubblegum even though he's all out of gum, and all about getting bitches. And think about it, there's tons of like scantily clad women that are in the Mortal Kombat universe, so why not make it Duke Nukem's effort to go and try to save them from something? I don't really care what it is, just make it so that he has to save them, because that's what he's all about. Saving the world and saving the babes. And that's really about it. So have Duke Nukem show up with his vast arsenal of kick-assery, make it so that he could actually shrink the enemies down, because that would be pretty funny, and then just boot them across the screen, and he's just like, fuck you, I'll rip your head off and shit down your neck. Yes, and we have to have all his one-liners. Hell, that would be pretty cool to have, like, Duke Nukem versus Ash. I would love to see a storyline just with them showing up, and Ash is like, you just stole all my lines, and he's just like, whoa, 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 and gets all defensive and everything. It would be kind of funny. Now the question begs to be asked. You, the YouTube community, what do you think? What characters would you like to see show up within the new Mortal Kombat game as downloadable content, or just show up in the next Mortal Kombat, whatever the case may be? I mean, we already got Freddy Krueger, and we have Kratos from God of War. So what other movie characters or video game characters would you like to see actually show up in Mortal Kombat, and why? What kind of ideas do you have for them? What kind of fatalities? Or did I name off the characters that you already wanted to see show up in it and you were just excited that I actually mentioned them, or whatever shit? It doesn't matter. I want to hear what you have to say, your thoughts, opinions, and your comments. Yes, the comment box right below my fucking face, right below my torso. Oh. Anyway, so comment down there, or make a video response if you so decide, because there's a whole bunch of shit that you want to go over, because sometimes you can't just all put it in the comment box. It needs to be said on camera. Anyway, do that because Mortal Kombat is an awesome fucking game, one of the most awesome fighting games out there, and there's lots of awesome characters, so it kicks so much ass just to see within this franchise. Just so kick-ass. Anyway, want to hear what you guys got to say, because, well, I love this idea. But, as always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers, game the fuck on.